Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to do an in-box review of the brand new Airfix 1/72 scale Buccaneer. So here we go. Now the Buccaneer is quite an interesting looking aircraft. Now I'll pop the little lid over here. Now this is a brand new mold. It's just been released by Airfix. Alright, so what do I have first? I've got some clear parts. So we've got all the canopy. And a few little fins and other navigation type lights at the front of the canopy there. Pop that here. Alright, second sprue here. So here we've got some of the rocket launchers, some bombs, and basically armament type fittings. That one there. So it's a bit stuck. So, like this. Okay, this one has got the undercarriage. We've got the ejection seats. There's actually a couple of seated pilots, which is actually quite rare these days. They look pretty good. The detail is really crisp. You may not see it now, but we'll try and get a close-up later. But you can see all the harnesses that are on the pilots. The helmets have got really fine detail on the visors. Then we've got other cockpit type. This looks like the main control panels. And there's a wheel there. Pop that down there. Okay, this part here, we've got the nose of the Buccaneer. This will be the internal air ducts. We've got, from the air ducts, you've got them going into the engines. And then you've got the open air brake for the rear. And then these, I guess, are going to be fittings onto the wing panels, and also you've got undercarriage panels here. This one here again, we've got more internal for the engines. We've got the tailplanes, got some tanks, there's the internal cockpit area, and then some more of the undercarriage. And the final sprue is all large parts. So here you've got the top of the fuselage, lower part of the fuselage. You can see here you've got the undercarriage openings. You've got your armament compartment. Now this is the top part. You can see here where the wings have been cut, because you can build these with extended wings or folded wings. And they look really interesting with the folded wings. They're actually very narrow. And then you've got the main undercarriage, vertical stabilizer, hook arrestor, and then these are the tail compartments. Now I'll show you a bit later, but you can see how all the new Airfix molds, all the panel lines are engraved, rather than all the early stuff that was raised. Now, raised detail obviously looks okay to begin with, and it's also easy to manufacture. But when you're sanding back, when you're gluing parts together, if you sand, you'll lose all that panel detail. But with panel lines already engraved, that's not really the case. And if you do sand a bit too much, then you can re-engrave them. And then also, if you're doing panel lining, the panel line goes through these much better and gives a much crisper line. So that's the main parts of the plastic. All right, so the rest of it is obviously going to be documentation. Okay, so we've got the instructions here. So we have detailed sheet for all the stenciling of the decals, and there's a lot of them. And even though it might be a bit troublesome, a lot makes it look much more interesting, I think. So it's good that there's a separate sheet for that. It makes it a lot easier to follow. And then you have these quite modern type manuals, which are CAD type drawings. So you start off with the cockpit, go through to the lower part. So if you're going to do the folded wing option, then you need to chop the wings here. And then there's the internals of the fuselage with all the engine detail. Going down to the rear nozzles. And then for the folded wing option, there's the obvious different support mechanism. And we've got the wings here. This is for the extended wing version. Then you've got the tail assembly to the fuselage. engine nozzles, exhausts, front intakes, and then all the finer detail on the tailplane. And then this is your options for doing the air brake. So it's an open air brake, and then there's a closed air brake as well option. I think the open one looks much more exciting. Then you've got all your finer, that's a bit of a trailing edge for the wing root, and into the undercarriage. So you'll see that all the undercarriage has quite a few parts to it. It's quite intricate, and all the intricate little bits take a bit longer to build, but add a lot more detail. And then as we come to the closing stages, pilots can be optionally fitted, and then you've got your canopy, and then your armament choices. So you get your options here for different types of bombs and where to fit them, your rockets. And that's the option for fitting on the folded wings, so they just slot in. It's quite neat. So that's a manual there, and then you've got decals. So there's two options of markings in the kit. They're quite well printed. Very vibrant colour. And then the final piece is the markings instructions for the two different versions. So here you got the version for number 800. So the main difference is going to be the tail markings here. And then over this side, you have the details for 809, and that's a different tail marking there. So there you go. There's my open box review of the new Airfix 1/72 scale Buccaneer. It's a very nice kit, and it's well worth putting one together, I think. It's got a lot of detail. Enjoy.